Okay, I'm here to talk to you about the issue of polar ice caps. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard of climate change having a huge effect on polar ice caps, and this is completely true. Ice is melting really fast because the world is heating up. We're losing 13% of ice every decade, which doesn't sound like a lot until you hear this. We've already lost 95% of our sea ice in the Arctic. 95%. I'm not sure if you guys have been to the Arctic, but from basic knowledge, you know that there's a lot of ice up there. But all of it's going to be gone before the year 2100. Ice melting contributes to rising sea levels. This means all coastal areas and areas surrounded by water are in trouble. Greenland's ice sheets contribute to 30% of rising sea levels. Again, surprisingly big number when you think about how much ice there is in Greenland. Polar animals are also losing their habitat steadily. Polar bears have less areas to hunt, walruses have nowhere to rest from the water, and many species like narwhal and Arctic foxes are being hunted more often by predators because of the lack of shelter. We are slowly losing many different species of animals, all because of ice melting, but what causes this? Here are some of the main issues. Problem 1. Ice is white, obviously, who doesn't know that, so it reflects all visible light waves. Therefore, it doesn't absorb heat very well and instead reflects the majority of the sun's light back out into space, completely harmless. The dark water surrounding the ice, not so much. It absorbs a lot of the sun's heat, but hey, water has high heat capacity, so we should be good, right? Your answer? 2 words. Greenhouse gases. They thicken the atmosphere, trapping the sunlight reflected from the ice, which warms the oceans, which in turn melts the ice. Ice reflects light, gases stop it from escaping, heats water, water melts ice. A loop, but not quite a positive feedback loop. It just goes until there's a lot less ice and a lot more ocean. This disrupts water circulation, which throws off life cycles for many aquatic species and negatively affects the climate, especially for the polar regions, letting areas heat up where it's not supposed to. Problem 2. I'm going to go a little broader here and talk about permafrost as well as polar ice caps. Permafrost is land that stays completely frozen all year round. It's found mostly in Arctic regions like Greenland and the North and South Poles. There's a lot of harmful gases trapped underneath permafrost, and it's good to keep it packed underneath all that frozen earth. But hey, greenhouse gases. Remember what a positive feedback loop is? This issue is a great example. Let me explain. Greenhouse gases, again, thickens the atmosphere, keeping in a lot of sunlight in the form of heat to warm the earth. This warming melts the permafrost a little, leaving cracks in the frozen earth and letting some of the trapped gases out into the air. And then it loops, which adds to the issue of climate change. Humans are a huge contributing factor to melting polar ice caps. Both the problems I identified are worsening because of the releasing of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere by humans. Air pollution from factories, cars, and commercial farming all affect this problem. The usage of fossil fuels by everyone is the worst contributing factor to the melting of sea ice and polar ice caps. Here's a simple summary. Ice melting fast, greenhouse gases released by humans warm Earth, people are trying to help, but it's not going so good. Most of the solutions to slow ice caps that we as average people can do is moving away from the usage of fossil fuels and other ways to generally decrease our contribution of greenhouse gases. Hypothetically speaking, if we could find a way to thin the layer of greenhouse gases, that would solve a lot of environmental problems, but we haven't found a way to do that yet. Some organizations that are trying to help this cause are Polar Bears International, Greenpeace, the Arctic Ice Project, Ocean Conservancy, and the World Wildlife Fund. Visit their pages listed on the screen and support their cause. Let's do something nice and protect our polar ice.